For me, one of the most exciting things about street art is the fact that I don't have to be in a museum to enjoy it. I can be walking down the street, I could be walking out of a supermarket, I'd be on my way to the car, and I can look up and see thought-provoking, great art, and it's exciting.
I even appreciate the crappy tags. I love seeing the gang graffiti. Like, it's like, okay, people are here, people are alive, people are doing stuff, you know? Like, it's not just this stark, boring, plain wall. Cavemen were carving into stuff way back when. And like, we've always left our marks everywhere, and why not?
It's kind of like modern day etchings on the wall of where our society's at and where the young people or the next generation thinks about the world and the direction that it's gone in, and maybe the direction that it's going to go in.
The whole history of street art began with the disenfranchised. It began with people who didn't have a voice, but really had something that they wanted to say, and something worthy, something worthwhile to say. In the very beginning, that's what tagging was all about. It was claiming a certain, territory or certain, neighborhood pride, or just trying to have a voice in a world where they were not being heard.
One of the things that artists repeatedly address is the question of what is art. With street art, or with every groundbreaking form of art, including street art, what we as an artistic community do is expand somewhat broader what we include within the definition of art.
In general, I think street art is really, really powerful. When I'm driving around, I see a lot of the messages that are being put out there is incredibly thought-provoking. It makes me think a lot. I like that people have the balls to get out there and say things that the general media won't. And then when I get together with my friends, we'll talk about it. A lot of times we'll have a discussion. Did you see a particular piece? What do you think about it? And it's really become part of my culture.
It's a huge cultural event that's been happening for the last however long. It's amazing, and it kind of depicts what's going on in the neighborhood, and it would be so boring if there was no street art. Thank God for those places where it thrives, and you can walk around and you don't need to go into a museum to see stuff. It's there, it's for everyone.
LA is such a fragmented culture. By the very geography here, it's very spread out, and there's so many disparate scenes all over the city here. So it's very tough to create any kind of a cohesive discussion about anything in this city.
Because street art is everywhere, because street art is in the streets, because Los Angeles is so spread out, street art simply provides a great opportunity to have a dialogue regarding art with everybody in our community.
What I love so much about Los Angeles to this day is that it's such a creative place, and certainly we're known for the film industry. Whatever creativity art form exists, it's just thriving in Los Angeles. It's very exciting. And I love that, that what's happening in our museums and our galleries right now in Los Angeles is really on the world stage. It's really an exciting time.
Well, I think it's really cool that MOCA is doing a show about street art. It is a true art form. I think it's some of the best art out there, and it's really cool now that it's being recognized by a museum.
It's kind of amazing when I was first told that this MOCA exhibit, Art in the Streets, it is the first museum retrospective of street art and graffiti. I thought, how could that be possible?
Some people feel like street art, yeah, what's it doing in a museum? What's it doing in this sort of white box? Is that kind of elitist or whatever? But I think it's kind of like the ultimate punk rock statement, It's like, why should a whole movement that's been all about not having rules suddenly create all these rules for themselves, why can't it be in a gallery? It is worthy of a wider appreciation.
Nick his curiosity was really piqued in the last 12 months about what's happening with MOCA, one of our local museums here. And Jeffrey Deitch, came from New York, his gallery in New York, to be the director of MOCA. So as far back as a year ago or whenever he became the director, that was already kind of interesting.
When Los Angeles' Museum of Contemporary Art commissioned the street artist Blue to do a mural on the exterior wall of the museum for Art in the Streets show, The curator, Deitch, was widely criticized for removing the mural. At MOCA Latte, we want people talking about art, and Deitch's removal of the blue mural gives us a perfect topic to ignite a discussion.
You know, inspired this big controversy that was going on in the art world here about, you know, censorship and what is good and what's good art, what's bad art, and who's to decide. It's always people in like an ivory tower that decide what we should look at.
Museum can do a show on a more historically renowned artist or part of art, and it just simply doesn't spark as much dialogue as street art can. And we thought with our sticker campaign, it was a way to enhance everybody's opportunity to join in, and in a fun way.
The beginning, the whole like MOCA Latte campaign was just, you know, it was about getting like some street teams to go out and like snipe some artwork around the city. But as it developed into a little bit more of a cogent mission statement, you know, we wanted to start putting these stickers in the hands of people, to get people more involved, the general public, the average people who are, you know, fans of art, to go around and sort of find art that they like or dislike and decide for themselves.
That's why I decided to get on the street and tag over 1,000 works of art with stickers saying approved or disapproved, what I thought about them, my own personal take on the message and the piece that's on the street.
These stickers are printed on recyclable paper. They are biodegradable, and the adhesive is very gentle so as not to damage anything that the stickers are mounted upon. And with those stickers, anybody can become a curator of street art and weigh in with their vote on which art they feel should be approved or disapproved.
I think it's really cool to get people involved in the process because the more people that we get involved in the process, the more people that come out like MOCA that supports street art, the more that I think it'll change, the more that I think it'll be appreciated, and people become more and more aware of it.
You know, these are important messages that, you know, deserve to be heard beyond just, you know, an alley somewhere.
And it should be preserved where it is too, and they should stop buffing trains, and they should stop buffing the freeways. I mean, they're wiping off art every day. And is it better, like, who voted like to decide that cement gray squares were like nicer to look at than somebody's graffiti?
A lot of art really doesn't get seen by a lot of people, whereas with street art, people get an opportunity to see art they regularly wouldn't get to see just by walking down the street or driving down the street.
The streets of Los Angeles are a museum.